Hey, it's Stephanie from Stephanie Dreams Tarot, and today I'm sharing my very first full-length video of an entire tarot reading, start to finish. I'll be sharing my year ahead tarot forecast, which is available in my Etsy shop by the same name, Stephanie Dreams Tarot. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone. Today I am doing a year ahead 12-month tarot forecast. So I'm starting with the Wild Messengers Alchemical Tarot, and our theme for the year is number 8 from the Major Arcana, Power, or the Strength card, here represented by the Bison. So we are going to choose 4 cards from the 7th Sphere Lenormand to give us the tone for each of the 4 quarters of the year. So we have the birds, which are about communication, the bear, which is strength and protection, the bouquet, which is gifts or good fortune, and the mice, which can represent loss and nibbling away, anxiety. All right, we also will be using the Claves Astrologicae from Labyrinthos. This is an astrological oracle deck, and Claves Astrologicae loosely translates from the Latin as the astrological key. All right, so beginning with this month, the month of March. Okay, we've got the 2 of Cups, partnership represented by the playful otter. The 7 of Cups, octopus, figuring out your focus and avoiding indecisiveness. All right, 11 from the Major Arcana, Karma, which is also justice, and it's represented by the praying mantis here. This insect takes a very still, almost meditative pose before it strikes. And so I feel like the message here is going to be related to getting really still so that you can see clearly before you judge a situation. All right, next we have the Soul, which is the ace in this deck, Ace of Fire or Ace of Wands, and that's represented by the firefly. So fireflies can fly in 6 different directions apparently, and this is a reminder to be open to exploring what's new, what's interesting, what inspires you. All right, next we have the Teacher, which is the Queen of Fire or Queen of Wands, and it's represented by the lioness, strength and confidence. Being in your power and being okay with the fact that you are strong. All right, we've got the 2 of Fire, which is 2 of Wands, represented by the swan here. So we're talking about making commitment and really focusing in again and being yourself in a partnership. What inspires you? What gives you passion and confidence in a partnership? So don't accept a romantic relationship especially, but could also apply to a business partnership with someone who doesn't truly value your ideas and what you bring to the table in that partnership. So next we have the 4 of Fire, 4 of Wands, represented by the blue jay. This is about realizing that your words have power. So you need to think about how you're talking about yourself, how you're talking about your finances. So many of us get into the bad habit of talking negatively about ourselves or saying things like, I'll never find the right job, I'll never be able to save money. And guess what? You're right. Whatever you say about yourself and your situation, your brain stops to listen to what your mouth is saying. And so your own words have a major impact on the decisions you make and how you feel about things going forward. So pay attention to what you're saying. Okay, so next we've got the Master, or King of Fire, King of Wands, represented by the lion. So we're talking about your strength, your confidence, your power, the fact that you can have pride moving forward in who you are and what you're good at. This is nothing to be ashamed of. Just because you have gifts, everyone has certain gifts. And what makes you unique and special is your particular gifts and how you choose to share those with the world. Okay, so Divine Union, number 6 in the Major Arcana, which is the Lovers. We're talking about choices, duality, partnership again, and what it is that you bring to this partnership. So going back to the duality, remember to let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you're not sure about something, an opportunity, a favor you've been asked to do for someone, then say no. Let your yes be a whole yes. When you're totally ready and into something, ready to do it, ready to commit. And if you're not sure, if something just doesn't quite feel right, it's not something you really want to get into, no. Use the word no and put a period at the end of the sentence. You don't always have to explain yourself or give excuses for your behavior. All right, and we've got the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Air, which traditionally is about being trapped in your own mind, being a prisoner of your own fear, and not really seeing the situation for what it is, because you do actually have the power to get yourself out of that situation. And so here, represented by the cheetah, the thing is that when the cheetah hunts, it has to be totally focused on the prey. So if it lets itself be distracted and lose its single focus, then it can lose out on exactly what it needed. So use this energy to prevent loss. Going back to the mice, focus on exactly what it is that you need and how to get there, rather than getting stuck in fear and indecision. Alright, so next we have the Initiate of Earth, which in this deck is the Knight of Pentacles. So we're talking about a slow, methodical buildup of what it is that you need, the treasures that you're storing away. Pentacles are about material possessions and ownership. And so with the vulture, we're talking about, rather than being ashamed of being a very different kind of creature that preys on leftovers, we're looking at the positive side of this card for your life as not wasting. How can you recycle? How can you take something that maybe was negative and turn it into exactly what you need? And again, going back to the mice here for this quarter, you're going to prevent losses and anxiety by figuring out what you've got that you can change or upcycle into what you need, rather than being afraid of scarcity or lack. And finally, we have the Sun, number 19 in the Major Arcana, and it's represented by the bald eagle. Very much about having courage and expressing and showing outwardly who you are, your strengths, your power, rather than shying away and hiding what you're able to do. It's about getting real, about how you shine your warmth and your specific gifts onto other people, rather than just hiding that away, worrying that you'll be too much. Go ahead and express yourself. You're going to bring a lot of light into other people's lives that way. So we are moving on to clarifying each specific message with the Claves Astrologicae, our astrological oracle deck here. So we'll start back with the month of March, the playful otter, or Two of Cups. We have Pisces, represented by two fish, again in water. A lot of water feelings, emotional energy here. Pisces is a dreamy sign. It's very intuitive, but can be a little flighty, sort of flitting about and unable to commit. But the message here for March is to really get into this partnership. Allow yourself to be romantic and playful rather than getting stuck in rigid expectations. And so going back to the theme or focus for this quarter, the birds are about communication. And so you're going to complete the circle of this partnership by communicating clearly. Be open to gentle joking, not sending barbs at your partner, but just being really lighthearted in how you address problems, in how you react when they share their needs. That's really going to serve you well. So for the month of April, going back to the Seven of Cups and choosing your focus instead of being indecisive, we have Pluto here, which is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation. And so as you are choosing your focus, you're choosing what's important and making decisions that you can really move forward with, be aware that there are some old hidden things, some really deep inner secrets that may be coming to the surface. And so to tie this in with the birds, you're going to need to communicate what's real for you. You may need to face some old memories, some habits that you're not necessarily wild about sharing with the world. Get real about who you are, what's in your past, and how that shaped you today. But know that your past is not the whole of who you are. It's simply a part. You can use the past to build on if you've got positive things there. You can also use your past, those old hidden things, things that have been secret, to chart a different future. You can decide to go a different way. This is important especially for people who have difficult childhood memories, memories of abuse even. Instead of allowing that anger and abandonment to inform how you relate to everyone else, we're going to bring out that those painful memories, and we're going to use them as a model for accepting and caring for yourself. And once you've got your self-care and your self-worth moving in a positive direction, you're able to extend that love into your other relationships. So allow your decisions and how you communicate them to really open you up to others. Let the old hard things go. Accept transformation into something better and something beautiful that's more real, it's more you, rather than being secretive about things you maybe had thought you shouldn't share. So interesting, we've got Libra, the sign of justice, the scales, here with karma or justice in the tarot. So we're really talking about balance. We're talking about being fair. You're going to be communicating this, relating back to the birds, and you need to stop and think. Stop and consider the situation clearly before you make decisions and before you start communicating what you feel would be the most fair or the most balanced situation. That's how you can be most in your power in the month of May. So moving on to June. Okay, so we've got Virgo, the sign of order, organization, and helping and supporting others, combined with the Ace of Wands. So we're talking about getting organized in how you are exploring your own passions. So if you're taking up new hobbies, if you're pursuing a new course of study, you want to be methodical rather than simply scattered everywhere. Follow a path that works for you. Plan out your steps. And so going back to the bear, strength, protection, you'll find that you're most benefited by whatever this new passion, this new interest is. That's best supported by going in an organized way. And that's how you're going to enjoy that new interest, new learning most. So for July, interesting, the sign of Leo does cover part of the month of July, and it's also fire. It's represented by the sun when you look at the planets and the luminaries, which are the sun, moon. So talking about the Queen of Fire, the Queen of Wands in connection with Leo, we're going back to that pride and confidence in being yourself. That's where you're going to find your most strength. Be confident in whatever it is that you are moving through in this month of July. Really feel that you've got a grasp on things. You've experienced problems in the past and you've worked through them. Somehow you've survived. So I want you to focus on how you've done that in the past. Which of your personal strengths do you need to call on so that you can be most in your strength and power? So next, for the month of August, we have Mars, a fiery planet of war and competition. This is the planet that rules the astrological sign of Aries, a fire sign. So a lot of action-oriented energy here. You need to own your strengths and own your intuition and your gifts. You need to speak up clearly in a way that builds your position. Okay, so once you've accepted your strength and started to take pride and show pride in who you are, be confident, you're going to find the most success. You're going to be most in your power when you're expressing your intuition and your passion in a clear way. Be proactive. So next for September, all right, so we've got the Four of Wands with the moon, Luna. So the moon is about our feelings and emotions, our intuition, and how we handle problems. Relating to the Four of Wands, we're talking about taking a careful approach. If something gets sparked in your subconscious, something that makes you feel uncomfortable or that something is just different than the path that you need to take, pay attention to that. You need to be aware of how your words build your existence, how your words either build you up or can tear you down. So really get secure in yourself. Know that you've got power, you have worth. And so as you're using those words, going back to the bouquet being good fortune and a gift, you're going to meet with more success as you express yourself authentically. All right, so next, October, first house of self with the King of Wands. We're looking at really owning who you are, being proud of the outward self that you display. You're going to find the most success, going back to our bouquet there from the Lenormand, when you are your authentic self. Be confident and have pride in who you are. And even if you have to fake it till you make it, I want you being yourself comfortably and confidently. The way you show who you are, how you are, matters. You're going to meet with the most success, the most good fortune when you're authentic. Authentically you, not anyone else. So for November, we have the Lover's card, Divine Union, represented by the tiger, with the solar eclipse, which solar eclipses come in conjunction with new moons, which are about taking rest, deciding on your priorities for the month ahead. And going into the solar eclipse, that magnifies that newness of the new moon, of really getting a fresh, clean slate. And so I want you making choices that really support who you are. Be fully in your no and fully in your yes when you make a decision. That's an important theme for you for this year. All right, so moving on to the fourth quarter, December. We're working with the Eight of Swords, Eight of Air, represented by the cheetah. And you remember that this is really finding your power in focusing, not getting stuck or trapped in fear and indecision, but allowing yourself to move forward toward your goal. And that's paired with the first quarter of the moon, which happens just after the new moon. Things are growing and increasing here. And so to avoid getting into anxiety and loss and destruction with the mice, the way you're going to get around that or avoid that loss outcome is to make sure that you are allowing your focus to grow in the direction of your goal. Allow yourself to be very single-minded, very one-track, focused on what it is that you're after. All right, and then moving on to January. Okay, we've got the second house of value paired with the Knight of Pentacles. So that's a lot of pentacles, earth energy there, all in one card. So the second house of value in astrology is about the things you actually value, what has value for you, what has worth. That includes your self-worth and taking slow, methodical action to build up your self-worth, realizing that you do have some financial security. Okay, building on those things. The things that you value are here to stay. And so make sure that you're grounding in, you're walking outside in nature, getting in tune with what's real, with what feeds you. And that's where you're going to find your most success, protection from that destruction and loss of the mice. When you really get thankful, get grateful about the things that you have and the things that you really care about. And going back to that self-worth, very important to stay grounded with that. And that's how you're going to have the most success in January. So moving on to the month of February of next year, we've got the Sun card from the Major Arcana with Mercury. Mercury is the trickster god, but also more important here, Mercury rules communication. Mercury rules transferring information, which is why when Mercury is said to be retrograde, we're reviewing our emails before we send them. We are checking and rechecking the details of things before we communicate them or act on them. So you're going to take this sun energy of really owning who you are, your strengths, your gifts, as we've seen repeated throughout this reading, and shine that light onto other people. Definitely communicate. Communicate the lessons that you've learned. To finish a tarot forecast, I record the bullet point message, the insights for each month in a worksheet like this, and I share this sheet plus the reading photos with my client. If you'd like to get one of these year ahead or 6-month tarot forecasts for yourself, please check out my Etsy shop, Stephanie Dreams Tarot. And if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Certainly comment if you've got anything to say about the cards or the format. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks so much. Goodbye.